guys, what's up? It's me, Priscilla. So for today, I wanted to practice on you guys. Now I know when you hear practice, like, oh my gosh, what is she gonna do to us? Don't worry, I'm not gonna do nothing wrong. I'm just gonna teach you guys a painting because I have volunteered a couple of hours at my church with the women's chat coffee. You know, it's kind of some kind of like coffee chat, and we're gonna do like a craft in between and stuff and just hang out and everything. But I'm gonna teach you guys how to do the painting today so I can practice for myself for when I do it on Saturday. So I have a canvas. This is a 16 by 20. And I get my canvases from Michael's. Of course, I have some paintbrushes. Now I have some typical ones, like I have these big, thick one. I have a really thick brush. And then I have some teeny tiny ones and another little teeny tiny one. So next thing you need to have is, of course, a paper plate to put your paint on. We're going to need our black, red, brown, white, yellow, and for funsies, I went ahead and got a little bit of glitter because what painting of mine does not have glitter? Alrighty then, first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your white paint and your black paint. First thing I'm going to do is take my little black and white, but mostly my white, and I'm going to go to the corner, which has been clearly dented in because it's been hiding behind my air filter for a very long time. So I'm going to go to this corner with my big wide set brush. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm almost gonna make like a sun, like this. You see how I made this sun? It's kind of like when you're making a children's picture and you put that little circle in the corner that symbolizes sun. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep going like this from the sun, giving it this texture. Now you don't want to blend it in because you do want to keep these particular brush strokes because it gives it more texture. I'm taking a little bit of my black paint and I'm just gonna go back and forth like this on top of it, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna switch back to my white, back and forth, and I'm just gonna keep on doing this. Make sure you wanna make sure it's not too gray, but it does have this texture and everything. And maybe we'll come back for a second layer once this layer dries and we'll add more white to it. So like I always say, make sure, we always want to make sure when you're painting a painting to always make the background first, and then you're going to make the subject matter, your main focus of your painting, on top of the background. Alright, after we have finished for our first layer to dry, and see, we overall have this very gray feeling kind of a sky. It's kind of dark down here, but you want to make sure you keep this radial fashion where it's like this radial beams are coming from this area and everything and going up in this direction. Alright, so for the second layer, we're going to focus more on white, and that's why I wanted you to completely let your first layer dry because, of course, white's going to show up more. So you see, as I start from the beginning at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and you're going to put very lightly on your brush, not too much pressure, because you do want that texture of your actual paintbrush going across. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, get some brown paint, and we're going to make our tree. You could do whatever you would like to do with your tree. The thing I like to do first is, of course, I just take a little bit of my brown paint and I'm going to just start from the bottom. So I'm at the bottom of my canvas, and this is where you get to decide how big you want your tree to be and how many branches you want on your tree. So of course, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my tree right in the middle of my canvas. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say this is how tall I want my tree to be. So I'm just going to go up to the top, right about here, and say that's how tall I want my tree to be. So I see I have a little bit of space. As I'm making the trunk still the same size and everything, I have the top of my tree, of course. Now what I want to do is I need to go ahead and decide how's my tree going to break off. So I'm going to say I have a little branch going off this way. a little bit of a wide branch here. And then that's going to be the top of my tree, and then I have a little bit of a wide branch going off this way. Great. So you don't want to wait as long for your tree to dry. You want to go ahead and still touch base with it while it's still pretty damp in some places. So what I did was I took a little bit of my brown and my black, and I'm going to get some darker brown shadows going up inside my tree. And what I do when I actually make the tree in darker places, I think on, of course, it's a tree, so of course it's going to have some various shading of brown all up and around it and everything, but I also want to keep in mind where's the light hitting my tree. Alright, so the next thing you want to do, of course, is you want to get some white and brown mixed together. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my brown, put it over here, grab my white, and mix it together because you want some highlights in your tree as well as your dark shadows and everything. So of course, I'm going to go ahead, for example, and I'm going to use my little teeny tiny brush just because that helps with highlights a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little bit more white. And you just want to get some detail spots in there, just where you would think that the light is hitting. Alright, now that you have waited completely for your tree to dry, what you're going to do next is get a bunch of white paint, and this is where we're going to apply snow to our tree and of course on the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put some white around my tree like it's just snow stacked up around it. So I'm going to make it go up and around my tree trunk. You know, just like the snow is piling on the ground. And of course I'm just going to bring out the snow over here and keep this a little bit of a feeling like a hill. Leave that alone. Next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put snow on your actual branches. I'm gonna take my medium brush once again, grab a little bit of my white paint, and I'm gonna think about where is the snow piling around the tree. So I'm gonna go and say, well, this corner's got a lot of snow on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of snow, just kind of hidden in the corner right here. And then of course I'm going to say, well, there's some snow here as well. And there's some snow here. It doesn't have to be a straight line. You could just do a couple of dots on the tree just to look like it's been piling on the tree for a while. Okay, the thing you want to keep in mind is when I applied my snow, I wanted to keep it more of a realistic feel, saying, okay, so snow's going to pile in the corners, of course it's going to pile on top of the tree because there's nothing on top of the tree. So you just want to kind of keep that a little bit realistic, and then of course when we get to the cardinal part, it's going to be, you know, unrealistic because not that many cardinals sit on a tree. My wonderful paint ready, and it's going to be red paint. So we're going to be pretty simple with our cardinals. They're not going to be crazy, like intricate details of actual cardinal bodies or birds. They're going to be very, very simple. What I'm going to do is wherever I didn't put snow, I'm going to put a cardinal. So let's start at the beginning right here on this little tree. All I'm going to do is make a little red circle right there. And then I'm going to go up and make like a little triangle on top. Basically, we're making angry birds, guys. They're going to be like the shape of angry birds. After I made my little red blobs, of course, like I said, we're not going to get too crazy with the body of the birds, but what I want to do is I'm going to go underneath them and give them their little tails like this. So we're just gonna go to every single little body. Oh, you can't see his tail, but anyone that you can see their tail, go ahead and give them a tail. I can actually hear a cardinal, and I see one right outside my window right now. So that's good luck. Okay, while we're waiting we need to let our little cardinals dry before we can put their beaks on them and their little eyes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and give a new layer of snow on top of the ground that I have. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my white glitter. So I have my glitter pile. Now I'm going to take a brush that I absolutely hate, and this is actually my masking fluid brush. So what I just do is I dip it into the white glitter pile, and I'm just going to go like this. Where I just applied that wet paint, and I just totally dipped the brush in wet paint. Alright, you know what this? Aren't you guys glad that I'm actually practicing? Alright, so I'm going to go to the where I just applied that new white paint with the glitter only. And actually, if you do get your paintbrush wet, it picks up the glitter a little bit more. So that's nice. I meant to do that. The next part, what I want to do is we have to give our cardinals some faces. So that's where I'm going to take my yellow. You don't need too much because these are just going to be teeny tiny little beaks that are going to be on our cardinals. So I'm just going to go ahead, take my fine tip brush, and I'm just going to figure out like where is my little cardinal's face going to be. So I'm going to say right here on top of that one. So let's focus. So you don't want to blob on too much of a little beak, but all you want to do is just pick the top of his body and just give a little beak to him. There you go, and you just want to do that to all your little cardinals all over the canvas. So the last thing you want to do for your cardinals is give them eyes. Last but not least, you want to add snow because it's snowing. So I'm just going to take my medium-sized brush. I'm just going to apply snow wherever I want it to be, and that's why we made a darker background so the snow would pop a little bit more. And if you want, just for funs and giggles, you can put like actual snowflakes on. So we'll just make a pretty basic one where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make like a cross. And just go through the cross. Jump in, dot here, dot here, dot here, dot, 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 dot. Other than that, guys, you just wait for everything to dry, take the painting outside, wipe off the glitter just to clean it up so you don't have these sporadic glitter blobs everywhere. But yeah, that's it. And another very fancy technique it's not very fancy, but it's just a nice etiquette way for people who you might be giving this painting to. If they cannot afford frames, obviously this is a canvas and it doesn't have to be this big, and I just touched wet paint. But this is a canvas that's 16 by 20, even if I'm going to be teaching this class on 11 by 14 canvases or anything. But a very nice thing to do, if the people that you're giving this picture to cannot afford frames, it's always nice mannerly way to go around and paint the edges of your paintings either black, or I mean this is a white picture, so a nice black would be nice, or maybe if you want to match like the background, so you can make a nice gray. Just painting the sides is just a really nice way to, because if somebody can't afford a frame, at least it has like this shadow box effect almost, and it's just a nice etiquette thing to do when you're painting pictures as gifts. So yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this, and I guess I thank you for letting me practice on you guys on how to paint this specific picture. This is not my original idea. It's just one of those awesome Pinterest paintings that you find, And credit to the original artist, because God knows who the artists are on Pinterest these days. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all later. Bye! Hey guys, thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you click that subscribe button, because I do post a tutorial every Thursday, and I do post a vloggity vlog every Saturday as well, on and off again at least. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, like my Facebook page, and make sure you check out all the other videos I have. I don't want you guys to miss anything, because it's a lot of doodling, crafty fun, vloggity vlogs, and all that fun stuff. Have a wonderful week. Bye!